This is the Hollywood reality they never wanted you to know.
Hollywood sells us illusions. Perfect stars, perfect stories, perfect lives. But Kevin Costner knows the truth behind the curtain. Across his career, he came face to face with 9 actors whose real behavior was darker than anything they portrayed on screen. These weren't petty disagreements. These were obsessions, betrayals, and outbursts so unsettling they left scars on entire productions. What Costner revealed will change the way you see these stars forever. And stay sharp, because the final name on this list is the most disturbing of all. Number 1. Sean Young. The obsession that went too far. It started as just another Hollywood pairing. In 1987's No Way Out, Kevin Costner and Sean Young were cast together in a political thriller that looked destined for box office success. On camera, they played passion. Off camera, it was something else entirely, something that veered into chaos. Crew members recalled the tension instantly. Young's unpredictable behavior on set disrupted filming, breaking Costner's steady rhythm. He was known for arriving prepared, calm, and professional. She was the opposite, erratic, impulsive, and unwilling to follow the flow of the production. What should have been a breakout role for her became a nightmare for everyone else. But the real trouble didn't end when the camera stopped rolling. It escalated. Young reportedly developed an unhealthy fixation on Costner. She appeared uninvited at events, forcing interactions he had made clear he didn't want. Then came the vandalism, property damage linked to her obsession. For a man as diplomatic as Costner, who rarely spoke harshly of anyone, his public statement calling her unprofessional spoke louder than any headline. Her unpredictability only grew. In one infamous stunt, she stormed Tim Burton's office in a homemade Catwoman costume, demanding the role in Batman Returns. It wasn't just bizarre, it cemented her reputation as unstable and dangerous to work with. For Costner, the lesson was chilling. Hollywood wasn't always about scripts and rehearsals. Sometimes it blurred into obsession, where boundaries dissolved and reality became unsafe. And this was only the beginning, because the next clash would pit him against a director who didn't just bend the truth, he rewrote history. Number 2. Oliver Stone, twisting history on set. Kevin Costner believed in the power of film to tell the truth. That's why when he signed on to play Jim Garrison in JFK 1991, he approached it with respect for America's history. But Oliver Stone had a different vision, one that valued conspiracy and spectacle over accuracy. From day one, the tension was visible. Crew members remembered moments when Costner questioned details in the script, asking if they reflected actual history. Stone's response was sharp. Artistic license mattered more than facts. To him, rewriting events wasn't a problem. It was part of the drama. For Costner, it was dangerous. The clash wasn't about ego, it was about principle. Stone wanted to bend truth for impact. Costner wanted to honor it, even within a film. Their arguments sometimes unfolded in front of the crew, turning the set into a battlefield of philosophy. You could cut the tension with a knife, one production assistant recalled. And yet, both men pressed forward. The movie became a critical success, even earning Oscar nominations. But behind the polished premiere, Costner walked away unsettled. To him, Stone represented the kind of Hollywood power that reshaped truth for entertainment and expected actors to fall in line. That realization cut deep, because if a director could rewrite history for profit, what else could they justify bending? The answer would come when Costner faced not a director, but a friend, and this time the fallout would be personal and brutal. Number 3. Kevin Reynolds, when friendship sinks. Some Hollywood feuds are born from rivalry. Others are born from friendship that collapses under pressure. Kevin Costner and director Kevin Reynolds had once been allies. Together, they made Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves a blockbuster. They trusted each other. They shared victories. But on Waterworld, That trust drowned. What began as an ambitious project, a post-apocalyptic epic on the open sea, spiraled into chaos. The budget ballooned, storms wrecked expensive sets, and tensions rose. Costner wasn't just the star, he was also a producer, with millions of his own money tied up in the film. That financial weight pushed him deeper into directing decisions. Reynolds saw it as interference. Kevin should direct it himself, he reportedly snapped, before walking away from the production entirely. Crew members described it like watching a marriage unravel in front of them. Two men who had once thrived as a team now couldn't even speak without anger boiling over. When Reynolds quit mid-shoot, Costner had no choice but to finish the movie himself, stepping into the role of director by necessity. The fallout poisoned their partnership, leaving a wound that lasted for decades. A friendship once strong enough to build empires had sunk beneath the waves. But if betrayal from a friend cuts the deepest, humiliation from a superstar cuts even sharper. Costner's next feud wasn't about jokes or mockery. It was about pride, billing, and the clash of two acting titans who refused to bow to each other.
Number 5. Robert Duvall, Clash of the Titans. When two strong-willed actors share the same set, sparks are inevitable. In 2003, Kevin Costner directed and co-starred with Robert Duvall in the Western Open Range. What should have been a dream collaboration between two legends became a battle of wills. The trouble began over something as small as credits, but in Hollywood, billing is power. Duvall reportedly refused to accept second billing beneath Costner. That dispute set the tone for a working relationship defined by stubbornness and pride. On set, Costner's vision as both director and actor demanded control. He wanted the film to move with precision, every shot and scene crafted according to his plan. Duvall, a veteran with his own reputation for mastery, wasn't about to be sidelined. He pushed back on character choices, questioned directions, and refused to simply follow orders. Behind the scenes, the tension simmered. Costner privately described Duvall as the most stubborn man I've ever directed. Crew members recalled heated debates followed by seamless takes, proof that when the cameras rolled, professionalism trumped pride. Yet, when the day ended, the air was thick with unspoken rivalry. Despite the tension, Open Range became a critical success, their on-screen chemistry praised as authentic and raw. But the lesson lingered. Two titans can't share the crown without conflict. And if clashing with a stubborn equal was difficult, the next name would take things further. An unpredictable legend whose chaos threatened every project he touched. Number 6. Marlon Brando, the unpredictable legend. Some feuds don't come from direct collaboration. They come from the reputation that precedes a man. For Kevin Costner, Marlon Brando was one of those names. A legendary actor on screen, but behind the scenes, chaos. By the time their paths nearly crossed, Brando's behavior had become infamous. He refused to learn his lines. He mocked directors. He once called Frank Oz Miss Piggy on set and refused to take his direction. Stories spread across Hollywood of Brando holding productions hostage with his whims. Costner, a man who valued preparation and professionalism, saw the warning signs. He reportedly said of Brando, "I just don't trust that energy." For him, it wasn't worth the risk. No project, no matter how big, was worth being dragged into Brando's storm. It wasn't just the unpredictability. Brando's disturbing comments about race and his manipulative streak behind the camera painted a troubling picture. Costner made a choice few would dare. He simply walked away from opportunities to work with him. In Hollywood, that kind of boundary was rare. This non-collaboration said as much as any feud. Sometimes the smartest move isn't to fight, but to refuse the fight altogether. And yet, the next name Costner faced wasn't just unpredictable, it was tragic. Because this time, he wasn't battling an ego. He was battling the people around someone he deeply cared about. Number 7. Whitney Houston's handlers, protecting a star or hiding the truth. When Costner fought for Whitney Houston to star in The Bodyguard, it was more than casting. He believed in her. She was untested as an actress, but her voice and presence could carry the film. And he was right. The movie became a cultural milestone. But behind the success, Costner saw something darker: the people surrounding her. On set, rehearsals were cut short, schedules constantly shifted, and Houston sometimes appeared distracted. To Costner, it wasn't lack of talent, it was interference. Her handlers, determined to shield her image, created a wall around her. That wall kept out scrutiny, but also kept in secrets. Rumors of drug use were whispered, but no one was allowed to confront it directly. Every time Costner tried, someone from her team shut it down. Frustration boiled into action. As a producer, Costner inserted himself into editing, determined to protect her performance on screen. For him, it wasn't just about a film. It was about her legacy. Years later, as Houston's struggles became public and her tragic end unfolded, Costner's earlier fight looked prophetic. At her funeral, his eulogy carried the weight of a man who had tried to save what others ignored. This wasn't a feud with Houston. It was a feud with those who profited while she suffered. And it revealed the truth Costner carried with him. In Hollywood, sometimes the real villains aren't the stars at all. But the next name would bring him face to face with someone who was a star, one whose reputation for destruction made even hardened directors call him impossible.
Number 8. Bruce Willis, The Destructive Reputation. Kevin Costner never worked directly with Bruce Willis, but in Hollywood, reputations travel faster than scripts. By the time their paths could have crossed, Willis's reputation was already written in bold letters: volatile, egotistical, and destructive. Directors like Kevin Smith, who worked with Willis on Cop Out, described him as soul-crushing and impossible to please. Co-stars like Sybil Shepherd recalled years of tension on Moonlighting, and behind the scenes, whispers circulated of Willis storming off sets, bullying crew members, and doing the bare minimum for projects that carried his name. For Costner, who built his career on preparation and respect for the craft, that behavior was a red line. He reportedly told friends, "There's no room for people who destroy sets just to prove a point." It wasn't about ego, it was about protecting the integrity of the work. As Willis's career shifted into direct-to-video roles, filming entire movies in days for quick paychecks, his reputation became even harder to ignore. Years later, his aphasia diagnosis offered tragic context, but for Costner, the decision had already been made long before. Bruce Willis was not a man he would share the screen with. And yet, if Bruce Willis embodied destruction, the next name embodied volatility on another level. A star whose public outbursts, violent temper, and infamous scandals left Costner questioning why Hollywood kept giving him second chances. Number 9. Alec Baldwin, The Volatile Temperament. Kevin Costner's approach to Hollywood has always been calm, measured, and professional. Alec Baldwin's, the opposite. For decades, Baldwin's name has been tied to volatility, public fights, furious outbursts, and headlines that overshadow his work. The world remembers the infamous voicemail where Baldwin berated his young daughter, calling her a rude, thoughtless little pig. Others recall the street fights with photographers, the arrests, even the parking lot brawl that ended in handcuffs. And most recently, tragedy struck when a gun Baldwin held on the set of Rust killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins. To Costner, who valued dignity both on and off the set, Baldwin represented something deeply troubling: the system's tolerance of repeated bad behavior. Industry insiders claim Costner once remarked, Some guys just don't deserve the second chances they keep getting. It was less a feud, more a moral judgment. Why, he wondered, did Hollywood reward chaos while demanding silence from those who suffered it? The contrast couldn't be sharper. Costner, the steady professional, and Baldwin, the lightning rod of scandal. Their divide wasn't personal. It was philosophical. Respect versus recklessness. And yet, Baldwin's volatility was only one piece of a larger truth. Because when you pull back all 9 stories, you see Hollywood for what it really is. A place where masks hide chaos, and where even a man like Costner, with his calm integrity, can't escape the shadows. 9 names, 9 battles. Each one reveals the mask Hollywood hides behind. For Kevin Costner, it was never about gossip. It was about integrity in a world that rewards chaos. He stood against obsession, arrogance, manipulation, and volatility, carving a career built on steadiness while others unraveled. But here's the haunting truth. If these 9 were exposed, how many more remain concealed? How many stars still shine on screen while casting shadows off it? Hollywood's darkest secrets rarely stay buried, and the story waiting to surface next may be the most shocking of all.